Today I'll be talking with you guys about the results of an FVS modeling study that compared prescribed burning and just thinning in 3 stands in the Lassen National Forest. And in order to address the problem of fires, we are looking to fuel managers and foresters for solutions on trying to preserve stands like these. How can we do that? Well, we know with regard to fire that they're getting bigger, they're occurring more frequently, and I can't pass this. Fire really is the focus of this paper, and trying to mitigate fire through treatments is the goal. Combination of a warming climate that is producing bigger fires and more frequent fires in an area where management has led to overstocked fuels and overstocked canopies. We need to find a solution that will assist in reduction of these fire behaviors, so that way stand replacing fires and other large-scale disturbances, which is really fire, doesn't affect the ability for stands like these to continue functioning as they do now. In order to address these concerns, I wanted to use the FVS modeling software to simulate treatment of 3 stands within the Lassen National Forest, using the first one being prescribed fire and the second one being thinning. I looked at these treatments to see if I could reduce flame lengths, and I also looked at it to see if I could change the forest composition, species composition, to have more fire resistant or fire resilient trees. I was hoping that I could show you and draw, but I can't do that because I can't use a Sharpie on this. And I can't write a dry erase on this, so I'm just gonna have to describe the results to you. The results we found were shade trees went up in proportion of BA and the amount of individual trees. Why is this? According to the literature and according to what my intuition tells me, shade trees went up because frequent disturbances every 10 years, or in prescribed fire, and with regard to thinning, the lack of regrowth of all species because of the frequent disturbances meant that the trees that were there were just getting bigger, and the only things that were really coming back were things that had the ability to regrow annually, and for some of those species to get above the flame length limit and survived that heat. What does that mean for my project? It means that shade trees, which are really good at growing in existing stands, overtook probably slower going species. Specifically, that means Douglas fir and white fir were loving this disturbance regime, and ponderosa pines and hardwood components like oak, live canyon oak specifically, weren't doing as well. The second key finding I found was that more or less trees that were already there were getting bigger, which I addressed previously. There was a considerable reduction in fuels, which did meet my only fire behavior objective. They were really good at, once the disturbance happened, they were successful at keeping those flame lengths under my objective of 4 feet for at least 5 years. However, with regard to prescribed burning, what happened was it burned, it lowered the flame length down to 3 in all 3 stands, and then there was an initial pulse of fresh vegetation that raised the flame length to 6, and then back down. It slowly dropped down to 4 over the course of the next 5 years. Then the disturbance happened, and it did the same thing in all events. Prescribed burn, was effective, and it was also effective at reducing flame lengths and slowing the gradual buildup of flame lengths over time, which I felt was a partial success. What did I learn from this, and what are conclusions I can take away from this? That prescribed burning and thinning have their own set of benefits and drawbacks. With prescribed burning, it's really good at clearing out fine woody debris and fine flash fuels, which is good at reducing mortality. However, reducing tree mortality. However, it didn't do a very good job of clearing out large woody debris, like some of these things over here, which, as foresters, you probably know that. So that's a drawback. The benefits and negatives of thinning is that it's really good at reducing those large, 1,000-hour fuels, 100-hour, not as much 100-hour fuels, but it's really good at removing the brush. It's good at lowering the intensity, not the intensity because that's still undisputed, but it's good at lowering the amount of fuel that is to burn. It's good at removing large fuel, and it's good at lowering fuel conductivity between each tree. The drawbacks to that is it's destructive, and it's expensive. It's a lot more expensive than prescribed burning fuel. However, you don't quote me on that. I need to do more research on that specific question. What does this mean for management? It means that using a combination of the both when funds are available is the optimal strategy. It's been proven in the literature by a couple different people, which I'm not going to remember. Jeff Kane, he does research on that. He's found that to be true. Within mixed conifer forests, this is a redwood. I do believe the literature says, with regard to this, it's the same thing. I'm going to go down. Ugh. And I think that's everything. I'm probably missing something. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.